Hey everybody, hello. Belinda Wasser here. Welcome everyone to this presentation. I'm very excited to have you here. I know so many of you that are following me on YouTube and on Facebook and LinkedIn and all the places are thinking about, so many of you are thinking about becoming a virtual assistant. So I love giving this talk because my goal in giving this information out is to help you decide, to help you see if you can see yourself in this profession or if it's just not for you. So thank you for coming and looking at this. I'm going to pull up the comments. As you come in, let me know where you're coming in from. We're streaming across our Facebook business page, our Facebook group, the VIP club. We're streaming also on YouTube and Periscope. So wherever you're watching from, welcome, and let me know in the comments where you are, where you are in the world, and where you are on your VA journey. And if you're watching the replay, please jump in as well. I always circle back around and try to answer the questions. So let me know what's on your mind. So here I am with my delicious daughter, 9 years old, Emily. Almost 11 years ago. I was going to say 10 years, and then I remembered, almost 11 years ago. And that's when I started my VA business. I've been a full-time VA for almost 11 years. And I started my business at probably one of the worst times in my life. I know a lot of I'm the kind of person that likes to start something, when it's neat and tied up in a little bow and it's convenient. And, I'm sure I'm going to be able to do a good job because I like to be thorough and I like to do a good job of things. And so as someone who likes having everything tied up in a little bow, this was not the time to start a business, but that's when I did it. And I kind of beat the odds and went all the way in. So this is me and Emily. So here, let me describe my life to you at that point. A ton of debt, like chest crushing kind of debt. All kinds of credit card debt, borrowing money from friends, hadn't paid the mortgage in over a year. So you can imagine my phone is ringing, people are trying to get me into payment plans and they're trying to help me, but it's just so much pressure and it doesn't give up. People are calling me all day long. And the thing that was hard is that I didn't have the answer. I didn't have the answer. On top of it, I'm getting divorced. I'm a newly single mom, so now I have to handle everything, and it was a lot. It was definitely a lot, and when you're co-parenting, it's still a big job. But when you're the single mom, you're the call. You're the person that's home. It's you, and I was excuse me, absolutely honored to have that job, but there are things that there are stresses that go along with it. And speaking of jobs, I did not have an actual pay me money job. I was looking for work, but I didn't want to. Here was where the problem was. I didn't want to get a job similar to the one that I'd had before. I worked in IT. I was a project manager, because it's not a 9-to-5 situation. And it took me a long time to have Emily, and I wanted to be home with her. I needed to make money to support us, absolutely, but I wanted to be home. So I had to figure out a way to do that. And also just for fun, we had to move 3 times in 4 years because I was looking for the right school system for her, and I'm looking for, I'm looking for the right place for us to settle down. And everywhere I looked, it was a struggle. It was like trying to afford the moving company and try to figure out, how I'm going to pay for things and where we're going to live. And it was a particularly difficult time in terms of housing in Boston, where I was living at the time. No one was giving up their rentals. You call the agency in Boston and she's saying, well, near where you live, there's 2 apartments available. So it was, and people are outbidding each other. It was insane. So anyway, the whole point is that even in the hardest of times in your life, you can definitely start a VA business. So here I am, I'm up to my eyeballs in all this stuff. And I started to temp because I used to be an admin back in the day when we were called secretaries. And I started to temp and I thought, all right, like I like this work. I like how it has sort of a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, you have tasks that you do. I like working for a variety of people. And I thought, all right, so this is good. However, I'm not going to be able to do this at a temp agency because I'm having to pay a portion of my, of what the client is paying to the temp agency. They're taking that off the top. I also knew that I had, for the kind of job that I wanted, if I wanted to be an admin in an office, if I wanted to command the kind of money that I wanted, I was going to be back in that sort of IT thing. I was going to be supporting someone in the C-suite, like a CFO, CEO, and that's going to be a 24/7 situation too, because that type of work tends to be that way. So I thought, all right, I'm going to have to do this on my own. So how the heck am I going to do this? So I decided I was just going to start off and I was going to tell every single solitary person I knew what I was doing. One morning at the school bus stop, waiting with Emily, the dads usually came in the morning and the moms were there at night. So the dads are there and I'm thinking, what the heck, tell them. And I did. And one of the guys who I've literally been standing at the school bus stop with for, years in the morning said, oh, you're kidding. We're like, I'm starting a business. I could totally use you. He already knew me. He already trusted me, right? He knew I wasn't crazy. And he said, let's sit down. Let's talk. This is so great. So we did that. And I did very simple things for him, that I know how to do. I paid his bills. I bought computers for him at the Apple store. I installed software. I looked at his email, and, answered the phone. Very simple day-to-day things. And anything more complicated that he needed me to do, he told me how to do it. And so that was really great. My second client I met at a wedding reception. At a wedding, we're just, I'm talking and here I'm telling people what I'm doing, because I know I have to get the word out. That I know. So on the other side of that, I've been in business now for 10 years, just by doing what I'm telling you. And I've worked with over, I think it's like 225 clients, where I've been inside the back of 225 businesses, and I've learned so much. Because when I started out, I knew Constant Contact, I knew a little HTML, and I knew my way around Office. Not like power user. I knew my way around Office like a normal office worker would know. I know how to open a document. I can do a couple of things in Excel, and PowerPoint, not so much. But that's what my skills were. And here's the thing that really surprised me. So the first year I made $70,000. The second year and every year ever since, I've made over $100,000. When you add that up, it's over $1 million. I made over $1 million in 10 years being a virtual assistant in a nook in my house. Right now I have an office. This is the first office I've ever had. I've had it for a year now because all the kids, they don't sleep over anymore. And so I have an office now, but it was always like the corner of the living room or the corner over here, just little nooks. And I was able to generate that much money, which is mind-blowing. And here's what we look like today. So this is me and Greg and Emily. This was us last summer. Greg and I are getting married in, less than 3 weeks, I think. I need to look that up soon. It's all coming together. I really attribute it to being a VA, because there's so many things I got to decide. I got to choose how much I made. I got to choose who I worked with. I got to choose how many hours I worked. And I got to set the path. And I also got my confidence back, because I knew how to, I'm the main skill, we'll talk about this, for being a VA is the willingness to figure it out. And I love to figure stuff out. So it just started to build my confidence, more and more and more as time went by. And then my life changed. And, the other thing was I had choices all of a sudden. When you owe a lot of money and you're depending on people for everything, you don't have a lot of choices. Other people are making, the decisions, but then I started to be able to make them. And I felt like I could breathe again. I really felt like I could breathe. And two more things are coming to mind. One is that well, I'll just tell you one of them. After I finally settled down and my business was thriving and, I was settled in, one of my friends said to me, if I would have said to you, 6 years ago that you're going to have a thriving business, your daughter's going to be over the top happy, well adjusted, in a good school, you're going to meet this amazing man that you're going to marry. If I had told you that, you handled your debt, all of those things, I would have told her she was crazy, because I felt like I had made decisions in my past that got me where I was, and I was 50. So at age 50, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to have to put on my seatbelt and deal with this for the rest of my life. I'm just going to have to deal with stuff because I don't see any clear path out of this at all. And that was hard because I'm very optimistic. I tend to be pretty upbeat, and I just felt like all of these things here, ability to make choices and decisions and actually just have a breath. I felt like they were gone. And so to get that back and to get this whole, different life, that's how I want it to be, really was amazing. So, all right. A couple of years ago, I started the VA Connection. The VA Connection is, like it says here, a professional online community. We have almost 15,000 members now, and 147 countries at last count. And I'm really, because I was able to make this change, this transformation, I thought, I really want to teach people how to do this. I see a lot of struggle out there. I see people really kind of banging their head against the wall, trying to start a VA business. And it is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of drive and determination to be successful, but it also just takes some systems and understanding what those systems are. And so that's why I created the VA Connection, because I wanted to connect VAs all over the world, and I wanted to teach them how to have the type of business that I have, so that you can, have these freedoms, have these decisions, have these choices, be with your kids, be at home if you want to. And so that's why I started this. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing. All right. So let's start here. We're going to start with what's a virtual assistant. Now, here's how this is going to work. I want you all to put your questions as they come to you in the chat. Don't be shy. Don't worry about interrupting me. I want to know, all the questions. This is all about you and you getting clear on whether or not you want to be a VA or not, or even just take a next step towards even thinking about it. Okay. So I want to start with what a VA is, because a lot of people, they have a lot of different ideas about what a VA is, and I think they make it harder on themselves than it actually is. So I'm going to just really simplify it so that you can see this. All right. So here we go. A virtual assistant provides administrative, technical, or creative assistance to clients. All right, that is really broad, right? A virtual assistant provides administrative, technical, or creative assistance. But instead of working full-time for one person or organization, he or she works virtually, usually from home, providing these same types of services to a range of clients. You could also put in bookkeeping. You can be a virtual assistant and do bookkeeping as well. So many people think that being a VA, you need a very specific set of skills. They think that you have to be super, super technical. They think that if you have certain skills and they're trying to figure out what they are, you can charge more. And all of that is not true. It's just really a case, I believe, of overthinking and a little torture. I think people are torturing themselves a little bit with that belief. So I want you to let go of that. All right, just really let go of that. And look how broad this is. Administrative, technical, or creative. I've even done things like planned a party. I had a client wanted to have a party in New York, and they said, would you plan it? I live close to New York, and I said, sure, I'll do that, because I wanted to. So there's not some, very specific set of skills you have to have. I definitely have clients, I have had them over time who want something very technical from me. But a lot of my work is I'll update a PowerPoint. Most of my work is, if you Google it, you'll find out how to do it right there. So it's really that whole figuring it out thing. And we'll talk more about the skills in a minute, but I just want to quiet that voice if it's going off in your head, that you can see how really broad this is and how I actually, being broad has been good for me because I can do a lot of different things for my clients that I've learned over time. All right, so this is how I structured this. So here's 7 questions that I get asked a lot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these 7 questions and I'm going to answer them for you, if we get to all of them. If you guys jump in and you have a bunch of different questions, we're going to focus on that because this is really all about you. Okay, so here's the questions I'm going to talk about. Are you ready to work on your own? What do I need to get started? Where do I get clients? How much money can I earn? What training is required? Can I work part-time? And who the heck hires VAs? All right, so those are the questions. Okay, here we go. So the first question, are you ready to work on your own? That is a big one, and that's why it's number 1. Let's just walk through it. Okay, so the first thing is you really need to think about yourself as a business owner. Do you want to be a business owner? Because there are things you have to do when you're in business that you do not have to do when you have a job. Things like get a business bank account number if you're in a business bank account no matter where you are, an EIN, an employee identification number if you're in the States. There's a different thing you need to get if you're in Canada. You need to make sure you have equipment, a computer that's reliable. You need to track all your expenses. You need to track all your revenue. There are certain software applications that you need to run your business, like email. So you really want to think about, do you want to do that? And you don't have to know how to do it, but you need to be willing to do it. You need to track your time, which is very different from a job. And that's something I had a hard time with because I'd always been productive. I got a lot done at work, but knowing, that I just did something for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes or 2 hours, it's very different. And I step into that as a business owner because I want to be successful. And for me, the price of not being successful was so high that I really was willing to do whatever I needed to make it work. The next question is, are you self-guided? So working on your own, you really do need to be self-guided. There's no one telling me I have to be at my desk at 9 in the morning, and there's no one telling me to leave at 5. So you do have to be self-guided. You have to be willing to work on your business, and you have to be willing to put the time in for your client work. So being self-guided is important, and it's not for everyone. And I'll tell you, it got easier over time. I just developed a routine, and a routine is key for this. Now, that doesn't mean that I have to be at my desk every single minute. I don't. But I do need to make sure I'm getting the work done, and most of the deadlines are not mine. So I need to make sure that I'm hitting those routinely. So you really have to be self-guided and motivated, and know how to get you settled down and in your seat and working on your client work in your business. This is a really interesting question. How much risk are you willing to take? So when I first started out, I had been in corporate for 17 years, and I thought, all right, I'm seeing other people with jobs, and I'm thinking, am I insane? I have to pay for my own health insurance. There's no 401k. There's not all of these things that were benefits. There's no sick time. I don't have vacation days. All of those things that you have when you have a job. And I thought, I must be really crazy. And I thought really long and hard about, what the heck am I doing? Is this the just most ridiculous thing I've ever done? And then what happened, and I didn't quit, and I kept going, but it was nagging me. It was in the back of my mind. I just kept thinking, even after I became successful, it's still a hustle, to get a steady stream of clients and all the things you have to do. So I thought, maybe this is in the back of my mind. Then I started seeing my friends get let go. They got let go, they were laid off, they were fired. And then I realized that will never happen to me. And I don't mean it like, well, I'll tell you how I mean it. Okay, so if somebody has a job and the boss changes, the new boss doesn't think they need you, or they bring their you, right? They replace you with someone they already know. You're done, right? It's single point of failure. single point of failure. One person in a company, the owner can say, you know what, we're cutting out all admin. My cousin's going to do it, or my daughter, or we don't need that anymore. So there's a single point of failure when you have a job. I don't have a single point of failure. I have, what do I have right now? Almost 40 clients all at one time. If half of them left, I would not be out of business. I would definitely not be out of business if half of them left. So you really want to, you want to think about that in a different way. Now, you do have to do things like take care of your health insurance, and other things. And there are ways to do that make a lot of sense, where there are tax benefits. Absolutely. And you'll want to look into those and become smart about those, or, ask an accountant or someone like that how to set that up. Me telling you isn't useful because it's different everywhere. It's different in different countries. It's different in, different states, all of that. But there are ways to do that. And one of my friends, I remember I said something to him when I was doubting myself about the health insurance, and he said, oh, just make more money and pay for it. And I thought he was joking, just make more money and pay for it. And that's when I realized, I was not in the world that I was accustomed to, because in corporate, they tell you the benefits and you take them or leave them. They also tell you how much money you make. And sure, you can negotiate with them, but you can't just decide. I figured this out yesterday. If a VA raises their rates and bills 40 hours a week, which that's super hard, so don't try to do that. You won't be able to sustain it for long. It's usually more like 35 hours, 37 hours is what I bill. But if you did and you raised it $10 an hour, that's $20,000 more a year. There are not many places where you can have a job where you can get a $20,000 raise with a single decision, right? Especially in admin work. So keep that in mind. That would pay for insurance right there. Okay. All right. Any questions? I'm just going to pause for a second. Any questions about running your business and being a business owner? Okay, put them in the chat. All right, what do I need to get started? Not that much. You definitely need a dedicated workspace. Now, what I mean by that is you need a flat surface where you can put your stuff. My desk, all of my desks, for whatever reason, are from IKEA. IKEA, I think, is all over the world. Very affordable furniture. And it was an IKEA dining room table. Now I have an IKEA standing desk. I'm 5'10", and I was kind of twisted under the dining room table for a number of years before I realized there was an alternative. So I have, Sarah said she has a nursing baby on me. That's awesome. That's great. Thank you for joining us, and hello to your little baby. So you need to have a dedicated place, because you want to be able to just step into your work. You want to be able to leave things, on your desk, and VA work is very flexible, and you just want, you don't want any of your billable time to be setting up your stuff. You just want to get maximum use out of it. So you definitely need a dedicated workspace, and think about that. So I've had a nook in the dining room, and even though we use the dining room, we'd use it for holidays when I'm not working anyway, or we would use it for, having a dinner party when I'm not working anyway, and I could just straighten it up and throw a tablecloth on it, or, whatever I wanted to do. But it does need to be a place where, you can just sit down. In addition to that, you need, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, you need to be able to talk about what you do. Because if you can't talk about what you do in a way that other people understand, they're not going to be able to hire you or refer you. So one of the things, for those of you who've been around, I have something called VA School, where I teach people to have, it's a 12-week program. I teach people how to have the VA business of their dreams. And one of the things we work on a lot is being able to talk about what you do. Because what happens is, especially when we're new, we meet someone and they say, what do you do? And we just start talking. We try to say as many things as we can, because we're not really clear on what we're supposed to do or what we're supposed to say. And we haven't really thought it through. We're just trying to figure it out. We're doing it in front of someone else. So that is something that you really want to work on, being able to clearly articulate what you do and then stop talking so that they can understand. I put that on how to get started because it's difficult to get clients if you're not able to do this. All right. And then the other thing is you need to have clarity about your pricing. So when someone's ready to go, you're not making that up. And that's something we talk about in VA school too, clarity about your pricing and how it works and how you're going to get paid and all of those things. Okay. So where to get clients? Clients are everywhere. Clients are absolutely everywhere. You will not, there are so many possible clients out there that you're going to be so surprised who has VAs, who has help. And it's like every shape and form, business owners, entrepreneurs. I have clients that are nutritionists, coaches, marketing consultants, financial planners. I've worked with real estate agents, dry cleaners. My daughter's driving school instructor, not instructor, the owner of the school hired me. So many people need help, right? So clients are everywhere. And part of that is that being clear about what you do from the last slide. And it's on here twice because it's so important. It's really critical that you be able to talk about it. And then the other thing is you want to spread the word everywhere you go. I mean, like I said, my business started at the school bus stop. Who would think that a business would start at the school bus stop, right? So it's really, I have a trick that I do. When I go somewhere, I have my business cards where I can reach them and like really, boom, take it out really fast. So I'm not that lady with her head in her purse, trying to find something, which is what I usually am. And I always have these big bags. So I have my business cards right where I can find them. And if someone asks me like, where was I recently? Oh yeah, I was buying a new blouse. And the woman wanted my email address because she's going to email me the receipt, I think. And I said, oh, here, this is easier. And I handed her my business card. And I only ever use my business email address for this reason. So, of course, my business is called Rocket Girl Solutions. And she says, oh, what's Rocket Girl? Are you Rocket Girl? And now we're talking, right? Oh, yeah, let me tell you about my business. I clearly tell her what I do. We have a conversation. She may or may not need someone in her business, but she's going to remember what I told her. And when another entrepreneur comes in and buys a new blouse and is talking to her friend about how she needs administrative help, my name is going to, may pop in her mind. And so that's how that works. So you want to spread the word everywhere you go. And there are many, 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 many ways to do that. But that's just a small example. Email newsletters are spectacular for doing this. Just stay in touch with all the people you know. You really do not need to cold call, find people on social media. It's really about creating a network within the people that you know. That's what I did. All my clients are referral. The best clients ever are referrals. That's what you want to start. It's called relationship marketing. I call it sprinkling because it's like I'm just like, flinging myself a little bit here, a little bit there. But that's where you get them. They are everywhere. All right, so let's talk about how much money you can earn. And I'm just going to take a sip and see if we have any questions. I am a tea drinker, for sure. Okay, let's talk about now how much money you can earn. Surprisingly, that depends on your skills and your confidence. That's what it is, because there are VAs that make $15 an hour. There are VAs that make, I make $100 an hour. So, and I am not doing probably that much differently than someone that's charging less. However, I am running a business, meaning I'm very professional. I have business cards. I didn't have a website to start out with, but I have a website. I'm clear about my pricing. I can talk about what I do. And I've had a ton of experience. And the experience is what gave me the confidence. So the sooner you can start working with people, the more confident that you will become. And I'm going to tell you my story, and hopefully this will help you understand how much you can earn. So when I was in corporate, I made over $100,000, like 104, 114, something like that, which is roughly $50 an hour. So when I started Rocket Girl Solutions, I thought, you know what? I have no idea how much to charge. I didn't even know what a virtual assistant was. I was actually working in person the first, for part of the first year. And I thought, you know what? My brain is my brain. People in the workplace have paid $50 an hour for me consistently for a number of years. And for some reason, I kind of knew that I was going to be figuring stuff out. I mean, my whole career, I was the one figuring it out. My boss would say, we're going to move the company from the 3rd floor to the 5th floor. I'm like, okay. So I'm the one that finds the architect. I'm the one that finds the phone moving guy. I'm the one that, brings the interior designer in. I just handle it, right? Someone will say, this is a really long time ago. We need, it was called picture tel back then, video teleconferencing. I'm talking from the 90s when there was like bajillions of dollars. I'm like, okay, we need video teleconferencing in the conference room. Let me figure out how you do that. And so, I find the sales guy and bring him in, and, the boss makes a decision, and, we move forward. But whatever it is, we need a way to store all of the 250 PowerPoint presentations so that we can find them when we need them in just a moment. Okay, that's how I spent my career, doing stuff like that. So I started out at $50 an hour because I thought this is probably a lot of what I'm going to be doing, and it was no problem. In fact, we were talking about this earlier today. I was in a webinar. I actually put my prices on my website because I was worried that people thought I was going to charge more than that. I was afraid that they thought I was, going to be a consultant and not a VA or, an admin. So I put my prices on the website, and sure, some people push back. Some people push back now, but I just got really clear. About it, and it worked out. And you don't need a million clients. You need enough to give you 35 to 40, or 35 to 37 hours a week, based on, for me, that's what I needed. And there's plenty of people out there. There is definitely plenty of people out there. So then what I did, I just kept raising my rate, and I got all the way to $120 an hour. It's a longer story, but that didn't turn out to be the right spot for me because people were not really bringing me into their business as much. And then I lowered it to 90. At $90 an hour, I am as busy as I want to be. And I'm doing things like updating PowerPoints. I just spent 3 hours yesterday doing closed captions, which is you download, this is what I did. I downloaded a webinar from Zoom. I uploaded it to this software called Veed.io. It loaded. I clicked the subtitle button. I clicked English. The whole thing got subtitled, and then I spent, 3 or 4 hours yesterday watching the video, looking at the words, and changing the ones that were wrong. This is not high tech, right? And I didn't even know how to do that. I had to ask one of the VAs in the VIP club, how do you do that? And she told me. She explained it to me. So my point is that clients they'll show you what you need to know. They'll train you sometimes. I also get paid this much doing making certificates for classes that are graduating and making attendance sheets for the coaches who are doing this. Now, the confidence is the piece that's important, because when someone asks you how much you charge, I say it's really simple. I charge, I have this thing, it's called the Rocket Girl debit card. People prepay my time in 5 or 10 hour chunks. 10 hours is $900 or $90 an hour. 5 hours is $500 or $100 an hour. And then I stop talking, right? So you have to have the confidence to do that. Now, to become that confident, I had to walk around everywhere in my car when I was going for my walks in the morning and say that out loud until my eye didn't twitch and I didn't flinch or look away because I was so anxious, right? So there are pieces to that. So Sarah's got a question. Sarah and her little baby. Oh, how many clients do you average? That's a really good question. When I first started out, I had like 10 or 12 probably for a really long time. And I was in their businesses a lot more. My Rocket Girl business has changed every single year. It's different. And the best thing to do is I just had I was trying to guess how it was going to go, and I learned just to relax. I set my hours. I know when I'm at work. I never know how the day is going to go. I just know I'm going to be at work, and I'm going to help. I have priorities, and I have things that I'm planning on doing, but things change. Things crash, things break. Client has an emergency. I can fit it in. Okay, here we go. Clients will say, I'm going to do my email newsletter. You'll have it on Tuesday. And then, Tuesday at noon, they say, oh, I couldn't finish writing it. We're going to skip a week. That is my day all day long. So I've just learned to look at what's in front of me and say, okay, what's next? Okay, good. Now, to answer your question. So at that point, I had about 12. I've also had periods in my career where clients want to meet with me. They want to, usually in the beginning of our relationship, an hour a week, and they're just telling me all the stuff they want me to do. They're emailing me, but they want to meet with me, or they want me to be in a meeting. Right after this meeting at 4 o'clock, I'm going to be in a meeting with the client. I had months, well, years actually, where that's what I was doing. And I was in meetings, and I was actually doing a lot of the work at night because I was in so many meetings. I hardly ever have meetings now. I have one client who wants me to go to his meetings. And then I think, now that I think of it, because most of my clients, I have mature relationships with them. I've been with them, some of them 9, 10 years, 5 years. We don't really have to talk that much because I know what to do. Or they send me an email and ask me what should I do. Like, here's an example. One of my clients, she wants to set up calendar software. So she sent me an email. Do you know about this? Yes, I do. I've done it. This is what I recommend. This is how it'll work. This is how much it'll cost for you to buy the software. And she says, great. And so if she doesn't have time to get on the phone with me, I'll ask her the 5 questions I need the answers to. She'll tell me. I have her credit card. I'll buy the software. I'll charge her. And I'll set it up, and then I'll probably make a video explaining to her how it works, send her that, and then she can let me know if she has any questions. So as my relationships mature, I need to speak to them less and less and less. I'm trying to answer your question, but it's hard. It's not, 13. It's not that kind of an answer right now. And I have gone as high as 53 clients. I was looking at a spreadsheet earlier today in the VA school study hall, and what I discovered is, when I have 40-ish clients, usually 11 of them are consistent, which makes sense when I had 11 clients before and I was busy, constantly busy. Then I have another chunk, maybe I don't know, 17 or something like, or actually I think it was like 11 that are occasionally. Like, I'm not surprised when they show up, but they might be publishing their newsletter, every couple of months, or, they might have mentioned they want me to change the text on their website, and here they are, but they're occasional. I know why they're showing up, and I know what to do, but it's just sporadic. Then I have 17 clients, so almost half of my clients, they are totally random. They'll come in, they'll have a project, they're all excited, they want to work on it, their business changes, they change their mind, and I'm just here. I have some clients who buy 10 hours with me at the beginning of the year just because they want to be a client. So if they need something, they've got my attention, because if you're a client and you ask me a question, I'm going to answer you within 24 hours, and so they want to have me sort of on call. So they buy those 10 hours. Some clients buy 10 hours. The most frequent is about every week and a half. I'm very active in their business. Others, one debit card, 10 hours a year. A whole bunch of them, 2 or 3 a year. So what I do when it gets too crowded in there and I can't manage the work, that's when I have to really start prioritizing. I slow down taking on new clients, or I'll say to them, if you buy 10 hours, I can start with you in 2 weeks. Believe it or not, the good ones say, okay. The ones that are in a hurry and having an emergency, you don't want them to be your client anyway. And I let that happen so many times. I can say that with certainty now because I did it not that long ago. Don't let the people who are on fire hire you. Even though it feels really good to save them, their whole life is going to be on fire. So the good ones will wait. So right now I have 37 clients, I believe is the number, 37 or 42, something like that. And some more are going to expire at the end of the month because they're just naturally going to go away. They don't need my services, which is completely fine. That's how I was in 225 businesses, right? Because people come and go. And I take on about, on average, between 23 and 26 new clients a year. So it all balances out. So Sarah, I hope that answered your question. So I guess it depends on the year. But it's funny, once I reach a plateau, I stay there for a while. I was at 40 for a long time, and then I was at 50 for a long time. And the reason it's come down now, it's very deliberate. I'm spending more time with you, and I'm not actively taking on new clients. I'm working with people. I want to work with more mature businesses, and a lot of people that come to me are not in that place. And so I'm just making a decision a little bit more about who I want to work with, since I love spending time with you guys. All right, good. Sarah's question got answered. Probably, and then some, right? Sorry. Okay, so that's the money. And like I mentioned, you can raise your rate $10 an hour. That's $20,000. So you really can decide. And I'll tell you one last story. When I moved here, so I moved from Boston to Connecticut, Emily and I did, to live with Greg. And when we moved here, I didn't have any friends, and I had a lot of friends in Boston, and I really wanted to establish myself here. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to go out, I wanted to have lunch with people, and I wanted to meet people. And I increased what I call my sprinkling, sort of my marketing efforts, a lot, because I wanted friends, and I knew I wasn't going to make friends if I didn't get out there. And that particular year, I changed nothing about my business, except I just cranked up that machine. And I mean, even back then, I wasn't even doing public speaking. So it wasn't like I was on a stage somewhere, which I do now. I started that later. And that year, and I wasn't at $90 an hour either. And I made $146,000. I worked a lot, but I made a lot of money, and I made a lot of friends. So it was good. From home, and actually in this chair right here. This is the chair, the $1 million chair. All right, so let's talk about the training that is required. Okay, so one of the things I want to tell you about is I have something that is available on my website. It's called the Ultimate Virtual Assistant Money Making Task List. So what I want you to do when we're done is go over to, let me just make sure this is true, because oh yeah, it is. All right. I changed some things around on the website recently. So go to thevaconnection.com, thevaconnection.com, and scroll down a little bit under the banner with all the logos, and you'll see 3 boxes. I believe it's the middle box. It says the Ultimate VA Money Making Task List. If you don't have it already, go ahead and click there and download that. And that is, I believe, 12 pages of all the not all the things, all the things that will fit on 12 pages that you can do as a virtual assistant. Now, when you look at that, if you're new, please do not use this as a guide to feel bad about yourself, like, oh my gosh, I have so much to learn. You can start with 1 or 2 skills. You can start with 1 skill. One skill. So don't stress, but just look and see, wow, this is really broad. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. One thing I want to say too, I realized this recently. So I don't get any of my clients online. I have a newsletter, I put it online, I interact with people online, but I don't actively pursue people online to get clients. And what I noticed is there are Facebook groups where you can, people can post jobs. The Virtual Assistant Connection, people post jobs. And what happens is, it's sort of like, I'm trying to think of an analogy that's not disgusting, but it's like you drop something in the water and all the fish go to it, like, right? Like a drop of blood or something, they're all like, shoom. And that's what happens. And so it makes it look like this industry is really competitive and cutthroat. And it also makes it seem like and the people who have post jobs on social media like that are usually online people. So they need online skills. They need ClickFunnels and marketing automation and all this stuff that you probably may or may not know, but probably not if you're just starting out, right? Or if you've been an admin. So here you are, you're trying to get started, and you think all of a sudden that you need all these skills, and you have to be really technical, and there's not enough work, and it's really cutthroat. It's not, because what I teach you is how to, and there are videos, videos and blog posts. If you go to the vaconnection.com, go to the blog, click on getting clients. What I'm saying, it's all right there. You can read it. You can read it all. It's not that at all. So what happens is I get my own clients. There's plenty of them out there. I have a discovery call tomorrow. Or actually 2 next week. I had one earlier this week. They're everywhere. People need help. They need competent help. So there isn't that feeling. And so my point is, when you look at this guide, please don't narrow in on the really high techy things thinking you have to do them. Okay, you don't. You definitely don't. Okay. What you do need to do though is to learn how to run a business. How to handle your money and the banking and how to fire a client and how to onboard a client and all of that. And like I said, that information is available over at the VA Connection. It's available in the guides section in the Facebook group. If you're in the VA Connection Facebook group right now, go up to the guides. There's a ton of information there. And starting in October, I'm going to be opening the doors to VA school again, and you can come right in and I'll take your hand and I'll show you how to do it. But the information is there. What the difference between having the raw information in VA school is the path and the hand. When you're reading through all those guides and watching the videos, it's there. When you're in VA school, I'm holding your hand and I'm giving it to you in the order that I think makes it easiest for you to be successful. Okay. All right. Can I work part-time? Yes, absolutely. I started out full-time because I needed to make a full-time income to support myself. But yes, you can definitely work part-time. And there are some things to consider. The type of work. So I have some clients that will send me a newsletter on Monday morning. They need it Wednesday. No problem. There are however many days that is, however many hours in between. I can do it at night when the baby's sleeping. I don't have a baby. I can do it. When Emily's home, when she's not home, I can make choices. However, I have other clients that when they ask me a question, they pretty much expect, unless I tell them I'm not at my desk, for some period of time, then I'm going to answer them within an hour or so, a couple hours, they'll get an answer. And that's our arrangement. That's our deal. Those are the clients that buy, a debit card once a week or every week and a half. You just don't want to take those kinds of clients because it's not going to work. And, you want to take clients, which the majority of my work is like this. It's very rare that I have to do something immediately. My day is just not set up like that. Okay, so consider the type of work. You want to set expectations with the client. You want them to know when they can expect something. So if a client emails you, something on Monday and they're publishing on Thursday, you want to email them back, even if you can't do the work until Wednesday, let them know. Thank you. Looks like everything's here. I'll get you a test on Wednesday so we can publish on Thursday. So I let her know I have it. I also let her know I looked at it, so it looks like I have everything I need. So she's taken a deep breath, okay, cool, she's got it. I tell her when I'm going to do the work, so she's not thinking on Tuesday night, when is she going to do that? I tell her, I'm going to do it Wednesday morning. I'm going to do it Tuesday night. And then I acknowledge that we're publishing on Thursday. So in that one email, this woman or man client who knows I'm part-time, I've handled it. So communication is really key. The other thing is you want to set a consistent schedule. You want to do it for them, but you really want to do it for you. Because if you don't know when you're working, here's an analogy, okay? So when I say to myself, I'm going to walk on the treadmill every single day, I get on the treadmill every single day. When I say, I'm going to walk on the treadmill 5 days this week, I will probably do it 3 days, because what happens is on Monday, I'm like, okay, this is one of my days off. I'm not doing it. Okay, so then Tuesday I'll think, okay, I'll start on Wednesday and I'll do it every single day because that's what I'm going to have to do. I don't do it, and I don't think I'm unusual in that way. So for me to say, I'm working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then I can make an exception. This Tuesday I went to Boston all day. So that was the exception, but I made the decision. It didn't happen to me. I didn't just accidentally get in my car and start driving to Boston, just like I don't accidentally walk by the linen closet and start organizing it. right? Because that would take me away from my work and my billable time. So really a consistent schedule. And like I said, the clients will know when they email you, on Monday that they're going to hear from you on Tuesday. And that, especially when you're part-time, you want to make sure that you're really communicating. All right. Who hires virtual assistants? Anyone who understands what we do. So get really good at talking about it and spread the word. All right. So here's some of who I've worked with. So small business owners, authors, financial planners. Financial planners are amazing because they're really organized and they plan. They plan ahead. They really never give me anything at the last minute, and they can afford me, right? Coaches, consultants, nutritionists, recruiters, real estate agents, and I have had VAs in the past. I at one point thought I wanted to run an agency. I discovered I did not, but I did. I had 2 VAs working with me, helping me with my client work, which is a nice, lucrative way to grow your business. So absolutely. Okay, so these are the questions that we talked about. I'm going to put them up again, and then I'm just going to see if you have any comments, any questions. And I know there's a lag, so I am going to sit here for just a minute enjoying my tea. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you about this. So what I want you to do next, if you're not already part of my free online classroom, I want you to go over to Facebook and type the Virtual Assistant Connection in the search bar at the top. You'll see a join button, and I want you to come on in. And even if you're just thinking about being a VA, we have almost 15,000 people in there. Great community, tons of information, lots of webinars like this happening all the time. We have something called the weekly webinars series every Wednesday where you can come and get your questions answered anytime. So head on over. Okay, you guys, thanks for coming. It was great to see you. If you have any questions during the replay or something you think of later, this will be in the group. It'll be on YouTube. It'll also be in Periscope. Just head on over, tag me, and I'll come back to answer your question. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. See you in the group.